coming really late to the party because I realize you've been discussing this now for quite a while. I live on Eagle Point Road. Both of my children graduated. They went all the way through the school system here, K through 12.
What's your name?
My name is Val Meredith. I live at 3517 Eagle Point Road.
Thank you.
My one son was a National Merit finalist and entered UC San Diego with honors, and my other child went to Princeton. So I'm very happy with what happened in the Acalanes School District. Also, though, now as a senior, I can opt out of paying taxes on some of these bond issues, and we've decided not to do that because we really believe in the district. We obviously believe in the public school system. However, when I read the newspaper today about this 42% property tax hike, it was more about that you had promised something, and then you were going to unilaterally make a decision without going back to the voters about raising their tax rate, which seemed to me a significant amount, 42%. And what I'm hearing tonight is obviously you have significant issues before you that you have to resolve in terms of budgets. But I just felt that I probably represent other people who think everything's going fine with the school board and everything's great, and so we don't need to participate. But the problem is, when I read this and talked to some of my other friends, they said, wow, what's going on down? You know, we need to, not because we've already had the issue with the cabs, and we covered that somewhat tonight. And that looks, really bad for the district a while back, but we were like, okay. And now this came up in the newspaper today, so I thought, gee, I haven't been to school board meetings for a long time, but I think I better go down and just kind of find out what's happening. So that's why I'm here, to really just represent those of us who you're not hearing, but who probably are really pretty upset to see that their tax bills are going to be raised significantly without their having a chance to say anything about it. But the worst thing is that I think it undermines the credibility of the board when they want to go for another tax issue later on down the line and ask the voters to trust them that this is what it's going to be, and it's going to, it's going to have it's going to end, and it's not going to be asked for again, and so forth. So that's really all I wanted to say tonight. And I hope you'll strongly consider that, because I would hate to have this credibility gap arise between the school board and the members of the community who so strongly support this. And not only do they support the taxes, but they also support in giving to the nonprofit organizations that also help the schools. So that would be all I want to say. Thanks very much.
I would just like to make a clarification, because the headlines were very striking. It's startling, and that's why a lot of people are here tonight. You're going to raise our taxes by 44% or 42%, and we got several phone calls this morning from people like, how could you do that? And they were thinking overall taxes. They weren't just thinking of this bond measure. They were thinking all taxes. So I just want to repeat that we are not raising their taxes by 42% on this board resolution tonight. What I said earlier is just because of the market, and I think, Richard, you did a good job of explaining the flat taxes, and the fact that we didn't meet our goals of 5.75% assessed valuation for 4 years in a row. We had a couple of years of dips in our AV. So what's happening is the property taxes are going up on the bond measures regardless of this resolution. They're going to go up over the next 10 years by rise by from its current 35.58 to its highest 48.40. If you pass this resolution, the calculation is that would add an additional 2.5%, so that's not 42%. We're not asking for a 42% increase. So I don't know if that makes it any clearer, but I
Chris, I think $2.5.
Yeah, 250, not 2.5%. But I have it at like 7%, so
Right.
something like that.
right, thanks.
Yeah, I appreciate that clarification. I think what I'd like people, and I hope my fellow board members agree with me to understand is that, as volunteers and members of the community and people who pay the same taxes that everyone in the audience who spoke to us tonight do, we spend hours and hours, hundreds of hours a year on doing our homework on this to do what's best for the district. And I would hope that you would give us at least best for us, but we're doing this what's best for the children we live there, for the community, as opposed to just looking at one newspaper article on someone who may or may not have done all their homework as
Can
well
I
as we have.
disrupt yours? Can I add something to this?
Will the board, can you come to the podium, sir?
Certainly.
And would you tell me who you are?
Raymond Joseph, 1861 Delray Street, Lafayette, 50 years. I'm sorry, I'm gonna slam you all simply because the problem surfaced itself from what I can understand. And then you got all these knowledgeable people who got reasons and your hundreds of hours of how to solve it and what the end result is going to be. And the word press has come up a few times. Do you have any idea what a ripple this article in the paper caused about the Board of Trustees can cancel their own ballot? You really understand what that means? Now, this gentleman here's got some excellent explanations of figures and how it's going to balance and all that kind of stuff, but it's just so simple to me that one article in the paper got a ripple from my district, and I just want to lay on you just a little bit more, that with some of the information that you just said about where the funding's coming from and how it's going to be worked and all that, in the general public. But I want to be real simplistic and just to say that you have no idea what a bombshell this little article is. To our new trustees, I don't know how many of us here know what the word trustee means. I looked it up in the dictionary, and I was surprised. I believe it to you. No, but I don't want to be facetious. I just want to say thank you for all your efforts and what you're doing. I don't think I could handle any one of your jobs. But I just wanted to say, sometimes a simple thing was, what about a press agent? Who gives the press this information, or after they make a statement like this, does it ever get rebutted or whatever? Look, you're smiling because you probably tried this so many times. So forgive me for this outburst, but I learned a lot here this evening, and I take my hat off to you. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Okay, anything further?
I'd like to just address that. So the notification about this meeting, this agenda item, goes out to the press well in advance, which we do with all our meetings, our Measure E meetings, that goes to the press. These meetings go to the press. And so we inform the press repeatedly. We did get a phone call yesterday afternoon from the press asking for clarification. Those contacted were in meetings and not available. We responded to the press last night that we would communicate with them with more information today, which Mr. Lerner did with a great explanation of what's going on, similar to what he expressed here. Unfortunately, I think they felt an urgency to put something to the papers because the meeting's tonight, which I understand. But it, I think, grossly misrepresented the current situation, the decisions being made tonight.
Apparently, yes.
And that's what happened. But we do communicate to the media for the purpose of transparency and making them aware in advance of the meetings what's on the agenda and what's highlighted. We made the conscious decision to highlight this particular agenda item in that communication.
Okay, so this resolution is on the roll call. There's nothing further.
One of the suggestions was that the resolution itself could be amended or changed to reflect the 15 million instead of the 25.
I did bring